The war between Earth and the Zarinth had raged for 13 long years. It started over disputed territory in the outer belt of the Orion sector, rich in rare minerals, but ultimately insignificant compared to the lives lost. The Zarinth, tall and ethereal beings with silver-blue skin and luminescent eyes, were unlike anything humanity had encountered. Their technology outmatched Earth's at first, but humans, stubborn and relentless, adapted. They always did. Sergeant Cale Rourke had seen more than his share of the bloodshed. He was a survivor of the Battle of Juno's Fall, the Siege of Marek V, and the Harrowdrift Offensive. His name was known across the Terran military ranks, whispered with equal parts awe and fear. When the final surrender came, an unconditional, formal defeat of the Zarinth Empire, Cale found no joy in victory. Only weariness. It was on the scorched plains of Velmara, a former Zarinth colony, that Cale received his reward. "This one's for you, Sergeant Rourke," said Lieutenant Hasker, the weasel-faced officer in charge of post-conflict administration. "A gift from the High Command." 2 guards brought her forward. She stood tall, maybe 6'2", her slender frame wrapped in a flowing fabric of pale gray. Her wrists were bound in a shimmering energy cord. Her silver hair cascaded down her back, and her glowing violet eyes met Cale's with a defiance that could burn through steel. "She's one of their elite, telepathic class. A high-ranking one. Yours now. Do what you like with her." Cale's stomach turned. "This is wrong," he muttered. Hasker scoffed. "You've earned her, soldier. One less Zarinth to worry about." Cale didn't reply. He took the lead from the guard and turned away. The woman walked silently behind him, upright and proud, her steps smooth despite her captivity. Back at the outpost barracks, Cale released her bindings. She didn't run. Didn't speak. She simply stared. "Do you understand me?" he asked. A pause. Then, "Yes." Her voice was calm, melodious, but laced with suspicion. "I'm not your captor," he said. "You're free to go." She tilted her head, amused. "There is nowhere to go. You've burned our cities, poisoned our skies. My people are hunted. You may not call yourself a captor, but I am still your prisoner." Cale didn't respond. She was right. "Do you have a name?" he asked. "My Zarinth name is not meant for your tongue," she said. "But you may call me Silari." "Silari," Cale repeated, unsure. "I'm Cale. I know who you are," she said, her eyes narrowing. "The Butcher of Harrowdrift." He flinched at the name. The rumors had painted him monstrous. Maybe he had been, once. War did that. 4 days, Silari remained in his quarters. She didn't speak much, but she watched. Every move, every sigh, every hesitation, she absorbed it. Cale sensed that she was studying him, judging him. And he, too, studied her. Her elegance. Her restraint. Her grief, which she masked well but couldn't entirely hide. She wasn't a weapon anymore. She was a survivor. Like him. One night, a riot broke out at the outpost. Several soldiers, drunk and filled with resentment, had cornered a group of surrendered Zarinth civilians. Cale heard the commotion, grabbed his rifle, and ran. By the time he arrived, it was chaos, blaster fire, screaming, smoke. He found Silari already there. She stood between the soldiers and the cowering Zarinth. Her eyes glowed brighter than he'd ever seen, and a psychic shockwave radiated from her palms, knocking 2 men to the ground. "Silari," he shouted, stepping between her and the others. "Enough." She turned to him, panting, her expression unreadable. "They would have killed them." "I know," Cale said, lowering his weapon. "But you're not safe if you fight back. Not here. You humans speak of peace," she spat. "But you don't know the meaning of it." "I'm trying to learn." That was the first time she looked at him without hate. Days passed. Then weeks. Kale no longer saw Silari as a gift. She was a constant reminder of what war stole from both sides. But something more began to stir between them: mutual curiosity, shared trauma, unspoken understanding. They would talk late into the night. She told him of her homeworld, of vast crystalline cities and singing rivers. He told her of Earth, of his family lost in the early years of the war. "I used to dream of vengeance," Silari whispered once. "Now I only dream of silence." Kale nodded. "Me too." Their fragile peace shattered when orders came down from Central Command. All high-value Zarinth prisoners, especially telepaths, were to be transferred to Terran scientific facilities for study. Silari was on the list. "They'll kill her," Kale told Haska. "Not kill," the lieutenant smirked. "Dissect. For research. That brain of hers. Worth more than 10 starships." Kale acted before he could change his mind. That night, he disabled the outpost security grid and led Silari to the hangar. "You're breaking the law," she said quietly, her eyes wide. "I don't care," Kale said. "You saved people. You've done more for peace than any general. I won't let them destroy you." She touched his face gently. "You were never my captor, Kale." "Not really." He smuggled her aboard a stolen scout ship, pre-programmed the coordinates to a safe system beyond Terran control. Before she boarded, she hesitated. "Come with me." Kale shook his head. "I'm too recognizable. They'll chase us both. But you can start over." "I don't want to forget you," she said. "You won't." She leaned forward and kissed his cheek, a soft, barely there brush of warmth. "Goodbye, Kale Rourke." The next day, he stood before a military tribunal. Stripped of rank. Branded a traitor. But Kale didn't care. He'd done enough fighting. Enough killing. He disappeared into the fringes of space, where forgotten soldiers and faded dreams go to die. Sometimes, in the silence of some nameless outpost, he'd look up at the stars and wonder where Silari was. If she was safe. If she remembered him. And far across the galaxy, on a lush moon untouched by war, a silver-haired woman walked through fields of violet grass, humming the melody of a Terran lullaby she'd never heard before the war. END